And right now, very pleased to have with us from Fox News NRA Life of Duty, U.S. Marine Corps retired Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North joins us. Colonel, how are you today?
Sam, great to be with you. I wish I could be in a studio, but I'm out doing a Veterans Day event out in Granville, Ohio, with a bunch of great Americans who serve their country. And I admire you for doing, focusing on veterans today is a magnificent thing to do. We just hope that we can keep people's focus on it so that Washington starts to do what it needs to do for our veterans. They're talking about a revamp on the VA. It certainly needs that. But let me add one more to the quiver of what you and your guests have been talking about. And this is what my foundation is trying to get the Congress to do. Freedom Alliance believes that we need to have, not wait till January, but pass now the Hire More Heroes Act. And it's been languishing in the Senate now for almost 2 years. This is a bill that says that they're going to provide, in the short form of usual legislation in Washington, that tax incentives will be given to companies who hire veterans. And, everybody listening to you and I have this conversation needs to know that all you have got to ask for when a veteran shows up and claims, I want to work for you, you've got to sign out that says veterans apply here, or good jobs for veterans. You can't say only veterans apply, but you can say veteran wanted. DD 214 will show whether that person is honorably discharged and the general outline of their service in the military. That's what you want to ask for. And we need to have more employers out there doing just exactly that. And this is an incentive for employers to put vets to work. Second part of this whole thing is, if every person who leaves the VA, when they replace that person, they have to replace them with a vet, because vets do take care of their own.
Well, you're absolutely right, and I'll be honest with you, Colonel. We were down in Dallas, Texas, a few weeks ago for Glenn Beck's Mercury One charity, God, Guns,
right,
and Giving event, and we were talking with some guys there. They had a mobile gun cleaning trailer. They're called the Gun Cleaners, and they've got some brick and mortar stores. These guys, they're not veterans, but they have made it their mission to hire veterans, and they are looking for veterans. They're seeking them out. Because they figure they've got a great skill set for their business. They've got a great work ethic. These are guys who are dependable. They're responsible. They're the cream of the crop. And so they're looking for veterans to hire. And I think it's fantastic. I would love to see more businesses, large and small, across the company, be able to put our returning veterans to work.
Well, and that's what they're not looking for a handout. They're not looking for pity. They don't want to be victims. That's the way many of our colleagues in the media treat them, as, oh, you're the victims of Bush's war. But in reality, what they want is an opportunity to be productive. Whether they've been wounded or not, they want to be able to provide for their families. They want a good job, and they can do it. I mean, these are people who understand, as you just said, responsibility, accountability. They got a work ethic. They understand the business of getting something done that a lot of people don't. And unfortunately, because the way the press has been, scaring the living daylights out of people, oh, gosh, you can't hire a vet, they're going to go postal on you. Well, the reality of it is, if you want faithfulness and courage and competence and integrity and selflessness and tenacity, which ought to be the qualities we're all looking for when we're hiring people, you couldn't find better than these guys and gals who come out of the service. They get it. They understand it. And they truly do make the best kinds of folks that you could find to get a job done. And there's every skill set in the military as a civilian counterpart. Think about that. The ASVAB test that they give for getting into the military, at minimum nowadays, you got to be a high school graduate. You can't have a criminal record. I mean, if the folks coming through the military service experience ought to be treated as people who have had an extra opportunity to become good employers in the private sector. So my hope is that this Congress will get off their backsides and pass this legislation right away. It's too bad they're not at work today like you and I are, but the reality of it is this country needs this act. They need to obviously give these tax incentives out to companies so that they'll hire these guys.
And it seems, Colonel, that this is something that the American people would support. This would seem to be something that even a lame duck session of Congress could get passed, maybe as a way, again, to show that that Congress can work together on some of these issues. It doesn't have to be a left-right divide.
That bill has been passed by the House, sitting on Harry Reid's desk, but there's got to be an inch of dust on it. Like so many other things that came through the House, it just sat there and languished. And the American people need to just put the heat on these guys. Get it done now. Why wait till January? Some of these there's jobs out there in America, and just start rewriting the tax code to give that incentive to companies who hire them, large and small. Doesn't matter if it's a C corporation or an S corporation or an LLC. You're going to hire somebody, hire a vet, and get the tax break for it. Bingo. Ought to be done.
All right, Colonel, while we've got you here, and tell me a little bit about this event that you're going to be at in Ohio today, because look, we've got a huge event taking place on the National Mall in D.C. There are communities all across the country that are celebrating, large and small, celebrating Veterans Day and honoring those who've served. But I'm kind of curious, what's going on there in Middle America in Ohio? What are they doing today for Veterans Day?
Denison College is honoring vets, and Denison College invited me to come out and talk to the veterans community. Ohio is one of the, I think it's fourth largest per capita veterans populations in America. West Virginia, I think, is first, Pennsylvania, and it's just per capita in the population. Ohio's got an extraordinary number of veterans. And so they invited me to come out and kind of act as a cheerleader for their program to get vets to work, to make vets, give them the kind of opportunity that they really deserve. And I'm grateful to be here. But I just want to make a point about Freedom Alliance just for a second, because as you know, Cam, the back of all of my books is a page dedicated to Freedom Alliance. So proceeds from all of those books help the programs at Freedom Alliance. Yesterday, all the local channels, we should have had our folks there, and it just didn't occur to anybody. They'd have NRA there, because we gave a track chair to a corporal, U.S. Army corporal, grievously injured in Iraq. He's been hospitalized now for a couple of years. He's a hunter. He likes to hunt and fish. You can't do that in a regular wheelchair. So we're giving track chairs out to these guys left and right. And they had a great turnout yesterday, which also coincided with the Marine Corps' 239th birthday, to give him a track chair that is going to allow him to go out and enjoy the outdoor sports and do the kinds of things that he used to do before he lost his leg.
Wow, that is amazing. Colonel, listen, I can't thank you enough for spending some time with us today, and I would love to see you down here. We got to get you and General Boykin out in a field here before long.
Okay, that's coming up, and let me just tell you something. If
yes,
you go up and you look at the Fox News, my Fox News Facebooks, you will see pictures of the best hunting dog on the planet Earth. Casey, my hunting dog, gave birth to 5 pups. And get this, it's a Boykin Spaniel, little red dog, right? Little brown dog.
Yeah.
And she was whelped by Ashley Boykin right there in Farmville. So I'm coming down to Farmville to see Casey and her pups and start the process of bringing her back home. But she was whelped by Ashley Boykin, spelled the same way, General Jerry Boykin's wife, right there in Farmville. And as you know, he runs the Wilson Center down there at Hampton, Sydney, a great school. And now they've got 6 great little Boykin Spaniels. Well, 5 little ones and one big one. I'll bring them by your studio, and we'll talk about hunting dogs.
Please do. You might be leaving with 4 instead of 5, but we would love to see you down here, Colonel, and we'll make that happen. That is awesome. I love that. Again, thank you so much for your service.
I'll be down to see you before Thanksgiving. Make sure that you and I are both in the same city for a change.
Absolutely. We'll make that happen. Colonel, thank you again for your time. Thank you for everything that you've done for this nation, and I look forward to talking again very soon.
Thanks, Cam. Keep up the great work. Semper Fi.
Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North, joining us right here on NRA News, Cam and Company.